headers, hover, hooks. Hello everyone and welcome in the next episode. Today we are going to talk about react.js subject. In February 2019, the big update happened. And from that time, a lot changed. We can use functional components really similar to class components. And all this happened because of hooks. And this is our subject today. We are going to talk about hooks. And at first, I would like to tell you a little bit about what it is, how it works, what kind of hooks React provides us. And later, we will create a React hook component. So, let's go to the computer. Okay, so let's start from some theory and let me tell you about hooks in React. So the first thing is probably the question you might ask to yourself: what actually are hooks? Differently called React Hook API. So at the beginning, let me tell you about it. And React hooks are a set of built-in functions that allow us developers to use functional components in a similar way that we would use class components. So we can use something like state, we can use something similar to lifecycle methods, and we can do much more with functional components using hooks. We can handle UI, we can handle state and logic inside those kind of components, which wasn't possible to do before. It's a great idea to start using hooks because first of all, it allows us to create highly reusable code. So that's really a big advantage. The other one is that the code is pretty easy and straightforward, and it's really easy to test. And also, imagine minified class and minified function. Function is obviously less. Okay, so let's talk about rules of hooks. Core team of React gave us two main rules which you should fulfill to properly use React hooks. So the first one is that hooks can be only called at the top level. And what does it mean? It means that we shouldn't call hooks inside loops, nested functions, or conditions. Hooks should be used just inside the functional component, but not deep. And the other important rule of hooks is that they should be called from React functions. What this means is that hooks shouldn't be called from normal JavaScript functions. So this is React hooks, and we should use them only in the React functional components. Also, there's one great news. React developer prepared a linter plugin which we can use to make sure that we are doing everything properly according to those rules. I will put you the link in the description, so feel free to install it. Now let's get to the basic hooks in React. I'm going to talk about two of them. And let's start from useState. So useState is a very basic hook in React, and we can use it to handle our data in the functional component similar to state. So here you have a code example of maybe more syntax example of how useState should look like. Of course, we need to import useState from React, and then we can use it inside the components. So we are creating an array, and this array contains two values. The first one is like the value which we would normally keep in state, and the second one is like setter or updater, I would say. So we can use this set number to update the value of number in our example. Also, in useState, we are putting the initial value of, in our case, number. So let's imagine that, or maybe not imagine, let's see it. So right here we have an example, and here we set the constant with a state number and set number, and our initial value was 12. So if we console log it before the change, then it will return us 12 because we set it as an initial value. But when we will use set number function, that our number will change to the number put into set number function, in our case 10. And then if we will console log the number, then we will have 10. It's pretty simple, so I hope it's really clear to you. Let's now get to the other basic hook in React. This one is called useEffect, and it works like, I would say, component did mount or component did update or any other lifecycle method in React class component, and we can use it similar way. So let's take a look at the syntax. So we can do some action here, and useEffect will be rendered each time when components re-render by default, but of course we can change it. We can set it to renders only once, or we can set it to be invoked when the selected value will change. So for example, if we will have in our functional state any value like number before, then if we will set at the end of useEffect hook the number in the array, then each time that number will change, our useEffect hook will be called. Of course, we are going to check all of this in our example. And there is one more thing I would like to tell you about. So there are Redux hooks. So we don't have to use map to state, map to props anymore, because we can use two React hooks. One of them is useSelector, and useSelector is used to access data from Redux store. It's pretty easy because we just import useSelector from React Redux, and as we can see here in the example, we can get a value by using useSelector state, and we are putting what kind of value we would like to get. It's pretty good because we can get like a single value or we can get an object, so it totally depends on us what kind of value we would like to have. A useSelector hook is called every time when functional components renders and each time when action is dispatched in our Redux. The other important Redux hooks is useDispatch, and you might probably already know it's used to dispatch actions, and we are using it like in the syntax below. So we are referring useDispatch to the constants, and then using this constant we can dispatch any action. I would say it's much more simple than dispatching action in a traditional way. Okay, so now let's switch to get some practice. Let's open your favorite code editor. I already have installed react.js, and also I installed Bulma, so don't be surprised if I'm using any classes and something is happening. You can also install Bulma if you want to do this code with me. Besides that, if you don't know how to easily set up React application, I will add you a card on the top of this video, and also maybe I'll place it in the description, so you can check out our different tutorial where we show you how to easily create React application. So let's start. So I'm inside the app.js component. I removed everything what I don't need anymore. The same I did in app.css because we are going to put there some additional styling. And first of all, I would like to create some classes here because we need some structure to put our component inside. So I'll add two classes, app and container, and inside it I will add another div with class name section. It will work only if you did install Bulma, or if you installed other framework, then you might put any other classes which will be similar. Okay, right now I'm going to create a new component. I will call mine account balance. And inside this component, I'm going to create some structure for my functional components, and I'm also going to import useState. So, into the return statement, I'm going to create a little grid. So I will have one row with 2 columns. They will be about 50%. And inside each of the column there will be a card or box, whatever you will call it. So this part I can copy paste, and each of these boxes will have H4 title. So you can copy this as well. And just under the H4 I'm going to create a div with class name amount, and I'll put here some numbers. This is going to be the balance of the accounts. So you can copy paste this as well, but the second column will have an additional class savings. And here let's put some amount as well. Okay, and below this div we are going to create 2 buttons, I mean 1 button in each column. So let's do it, and let's put a class name. I will put according the Bulma, but it depends totally on you. And I'll just put an empty onClick with some console log, because any function we are going to just create, so we don't have it yet. And it will be used to transfer $100 from one account to another, and the button in the other column will do the same, but from the second account to the first one. Maybe now we could see the result. Oh yeah, we just need to add it to our app.js component. So let's import it, let's put it into the section, and we can see the result. Okay, it doesn't look bad, but I want it to look totally different, so I'm going to put some CSS on it. Let's go back to the code and let's open up CSS file, and let's build some styles. Yeah, this is exactly how I wanted it to look like. You might change something if your preparation is different, but that's what I wanted to have here. Okay, now we can go back to our account balance component and we can start using useState. Let's create one constant with useState, and this will be for our first account balance. So let's put their value balance and set balance. And we will also set up an initial value inside useState, and let's take it from our example 1050. Okay, and now let's create another constant with a saving balance, so the balance for the other account. And again, let's create here saving balance and set saving balance for updating this balance. And let's use the initial value to the same as in our example. And now it's time to check if that works. Let's save and let's see. Yes, it works. So now it's time to create our functions for the buttons. Let's start from handle spending function. And this one will send our money from our main account to our saving account, and it will send $100. So what we have to do is to use set balance and remove $100 from our amount. So minus 100. And then we need to take set savings balance and we need to add $100 there. Let's add it to onClick and let's see if that works. Yes, it works. So now let's go back and create the similar function but for the next button. Let's call it handle savings. And we can copy the values from the previous function, but we will just change plus to minus and minus to plus. And let's check it out. It looks like it works. Now it's time to use useEffect. So what we are going to do right now is adding an additional notification if we will pass some limit. And we would like to display this notification based on some data. So let's create a notification structure. We'll add a button here to close the notification and some text. Okay, we don't want it to look like this, so we need to add some additional styling. Let's go back to app CSS. Okay, and let's add some styles to notification. Let's put it to the bottom with position absolute. Yes, that's exactly the result we wanted to have. Here is this button. It doesn't work yet, but we're going to change it. So what we have to do right now is adding another state value, because we need some parameter to know if notifications should be shown or not. So let's create a constant with array notification and set notification. We will set the initial value to false. And here let's add a conditional and display this piece of code conditionally. So if our notification will be true, then this code will be shown. If it will be false, then it won't be rendered. Okay, so it's not displaying right now. Cool. So now we need to import useEffect, which we will use currently. And let's use it. So we'll create this function, this hook actually. And this hook will be called, in our example, each time when balance will be changed. So let's place the if statement, and if balance is less than 1000, then let's do set notification to true. So then we would like our notification to be displayed. And here, just at the end, we can put values which we want to be like the main parameter for useEffect to run. If we will leave it without any empty array, then it will be running all the time. If we'll put empty array, then it will be called only once. In our example, it will be called each time when balance is changed. Let's see. Okay. Our notification is shown, but we need something what will prevent from sending money if the account balance is less than 1000. So let's go back to our function which sends money, and let's add there a conditional statement. Also, we have to add here a function which will close our notification. So let's use set notification to false. And inside handles pending, we are going to place if statement. So if the balance is less than 1000, if the balance is bigger than 1000, then we can do the transfer. If not, nothing happens. Just the notification. Let's see if it works. Okay, and we can't see. But if we'll put more money on our normal account, we can transfer it again. Cool. So we've created a component, functional component in React using hooks. You can take it, play with it a little bit more, and I hope you will build something awesome. Thanks for watching! Congratulations! I hope you understand how Hook works right now and you are ready to build your next React application using hooks. If you liked the video, remember about thumb ups and leave us a comment as always. If you don't subscribe our channel yet, do it with the red beautiful button down there, something like this one. I hope to see you in the next video. Oh, there's one more thing. If you would like to check the code of the component which we did today, I will leave you the link to the article with this code. So check out the description.